First thing I noticed was that my sister wasn't looking at my daughter when everyone started clapping. She was looking at me and smiling, not the warm smile she used to give me when we were younger. Not even the fake polite smile she'd perfected over the years. This one was different. It was the smile of someone who believed she had just won. My daughter, Emma, sat beside me at the long dining table, completely still, across from us. My sister Rachel raised her glass. To Noah, she said proudly. He finally got the scholarship. Everyone erupted into congratulations. My mother hugged Rachel, my father nodded approvingly, my brother-in-law looked relieved, and Noah, Rachel's 17-year-old son, sat there staring at the table like he wasn't sure whether he deserved the attention. I didn't clap. I couldn't. Because 3 days earlier, I'd watched Emma open an email from the scholarship committee. I'd watched her read the first sentence, then the second, and then she'd started crying, not sad, crying. The kind of crying where you're trying desperately not to smile, because you're afraid the moment might disappear. If you believe it too much, she had won. The scholarship was worth nearly $48,000 over 4 years. For Emma, it wasn't just money. It was the difference between choosing the college she'd dreamed about since sophomore year and taking on years of debt. She'd earned every dollar of it. So when Rachel announced that Noah had received the scholarship instead, I thought there had been some kind of mistake. I looked at Emma. Her face was pale. Mom, she whispered. I turned toward her. What? She swallowed. I thought they said I got it. The room suddenly felt very quiet. Rachel set her glass down. Oh, honey, she said gently. That word bothered me more than it should have, honey. Like Emma was a confused little child. Rachel leaned toward her. You must have misunderstood the email. Emma blinked. No, I didn't. Rachel gave me that same smile. Maybe you should explain it to her, Claire. I stared at my sister. Explain what? Rachel sighed. The scholarship was never finalized. My stomach tightened. What are you talking about? I spoke with the committee. That sentence changed everything. I looked at my mother. She suddenly became very interested in her plate. My father cleared his throat, and that's when I realized something. This wasn't the first time they had discussed this. They had already decided what they believed. Without me, without Emma. Rachel reached into her purse and pulled out a folder. She placed it on the table. It's all here. I didn't touch it. What is? The updated award paperwork. Emma leaned forward. Can I see that? Rachel hesitated, just for half a second. Then she pushed the folder toward her. Emma opened it. I watched her eyes move across the first page. Then she stopped. Her lips parted. That's not my application. Rachel's smile disappeared, and for the first time that evening, nobody spoke. Because Emma was right. The name on the document was Noah Bennett, my sister's son. I looked at Rachel. Why does Noah's name appear on a scholarship Emma was awarded? Rachel folded her hands. Because things changed. Changed how? She shrugged. The committee reconsidered. Why? Because Noah's financial situation is different. I almost laughed. Not because it was funny. Because I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Rachel, you don't get to decide who receives a scholarship because you think your son needs it more. I didn't decide anything. You just said you spoke with the committee. I advocated for my son. Emma looked down at the paperwork. Her voice was barely audible. But they already selected me. Rachel didn't answer. Emma looked up. They sent me the award letter. I know. Those 2 words made my blood run cold. You know? Rachel looked at her. Yes. Emma's eyes narrowed. How? Rachel opened her mouth, then closed it. And that tiny hesitation told me more than any explanation could have. Someone had known about Emma's award before the family announcement. Someone had interfered. And I suddenly remembered something that had happened 2 weeks earlier. Rachel had called me late at night. She'd sounded strangely casual. She'd asked me one question. What exactly was the scholarship amount? At the time, I hadn't thought much of it. Now I couldn't stop thinking about it. I reached across the table and picked up the folder. The first page looked official, almost too official, but there was something wrong. A date. I stared at it. Then I looked at Rachel. Where did you get this? She smiled again. From the committee. No, her smile faded. I asked where you got this. She didn't answer. I turned the page. There was a signature at the bottom. My eyes stopped moving because I knew that signature.it belonged to the scholarship coordinator Emma had been communicating with for months, but there was one problem. The date beside the signature was 4 days before the committee had supposedly reviewed Emma's application. I looked at my sister. She was no longer smiling, and suddenly, I understood something terrifying. Rachel hadn't simply convinced the family that Noah deserved the scholarship. She had built an entire story around paperwork. And if that paperwork was fake, altered, or taken out of context, then there was only one question left. Who had the original? I didn't accuse Rachel at the table. That would have been easy. And, honestly, it would have made me feel better for about 5 minutes. Instead, I closed the folder. I looked at Emma. Let's go home. My mother immediately frowned. Claire, don't make this into something bigger than it is. I turned toward her. Mom, my daughter was told she won a scholarship. Tonight, we're being told she didn't. And nobody can explain why. My father sighed. Rachel already explained it. No, I said quietly. She explained what she wants us to believe. Rachel pushed her chair back. That is incredibly unfair. Maybe. I picked up my purse, but I'm going to find out what happened. Emma followed me. Without saying a word, neither of us spoke until we were sitting in my car. The moment I closed the driver's door, Emma finally broke down. I worked for that for 2 years. I reached over and took her hand. I know. They said I was selected. I know. Then why would they give it to Noah? I didn't have an answer. Not yet. But there was something I hadn't told Emma. I didn't believe Rachel. Not even a little. The next morning, I called the scholarship office. A woman named Melissa answered. I introduced myself and explained that I was Emma's mother. There was a pause. Then, she said something that made my heart stop. I'm sorry. We can discuss another student's award with you. I understand. I'm not asking about Noah. I'm asking about my daughter. Another pause. Emma Parker? Yes. I'll need to transfer you. My grip tightened around the phone. A few seconds later, a different woman answered. This is Melissa. Hi, we spoke a moment ago. Yes. I received an award letter 3 days ago. You did. My heart started pounding. You did? Yes. Was Emma's scholarship revoked? Silence. Not normal silence. The kind of silence where someone is choosing every word. Mrs. Parker, she finally said. I don't see a revocation. I sat completely still. Then what happened? I think you need to speak with the financial aid department. Can you tell me whether Emma's award is still active? I can't confirm anything until I review the file. You just said you didn't see a revocation. I said I didn't see one in the system. There it was. The first crack. I thanked her and hung up. Then I called the school.by lunchtime. I had learned something even stranger. Emma's original scholarship application was still in the system. Her recommendation letters were still there. Her academic records were still there, but the award status had been changed, not deleted. Changed, and the timestamp bothered me. The status had been updated. The night Rachel called me asking how much the scholarship was worth, I stared at my computer screen. 14 minutes after our phone call, I felt a chill run down my back. That couldn't be a coincidence, could it? I pulled up the email Rachel had sent me that night. It was short. Just curious. Do you know what the scholarship covers? Nothing suspicious, nothing incriminating. But then I noticed the timestamp, 11 10:42 p.m. The scholarship status had changed at 11:56 p.m. I leaned back in my chair. Rachel had known, but knowing about the scholarship wasn't proof that she'd caused the change. I needed something stronger, something original. That afternoon, Emma came home from school early. She walked into the kitchen and dropped her backpack on the floor. They told me not to worry. I looked at her. Who did? The counselor. What did she say? Emma hesitated. She said there was a misunderstanding. What kind? She wouldn't tell me. I pulled out a chair. Emma, sit down. She did. I turned my laptop toward her. Look at this. She read the screen. Her expression changed. That's the date. Exactly. But Mom, what? Rachel knew. I nodded. I think so. Emma looked down. Why would she do this? That question hurt, because I had been asking myself the same thing. Rachel and I had never been particularly close, but we were sisters. We had grown up sharing a bedroom. We'd whispered secrets under blankets. I'd held her hand when she was scared of thunderstorms. I'd babysat Noah when he was little. I had even helped Rachel fill out his first college applications. So why would she do this to Emma? Then I remembered something. About 6 months earlier, Rachel had said something during Thanksgiving dinner. Everyone was talking about college. She'd looked at Emma and laughed. Must be nice having a mother who can afford to help. I'd ignored it. Now I wondered if that had been the beginning. That evening, I called Rachel. She answered on the third ring. What? Where did you get the scholarship paperwork? She laughed softly. I already told you. No, you said the committee gave it to you for Noah. That's not what I asked. Silence. Then Rachel said, You're becoming obsessed with this. My daughter received an official award. She received a preliminary award. That's not what the letter said. You don't understand how these programs work. Then explain it. I don't have to defend myself to you. You're right. I paused. But you may have to explain yourself to the scholarship committee. She hung up. I stared at the phone. Then it buzzed. A text from Rachel. Don't make this uglier than it needs to be. I read it twice. Then I took a screenshot. I didn't know why. Maybe instinct. Maybe because something inside me was telling me I'd need it. Later, 3 days passed. During those 3 days, my family stopped calling. My mother sent one message. Please let this go. Noah needs this opportunity too. I didn't answer. My father called once. Your sister says you're accusing her of stealing. I never used that word. But you think it. I think someone changed Emma's scholarship status. He sighed. Rachel is under a lot of pressure. So am I, Claire. What? You need to think about the family. I looked out the window. The family should have thought about Emma. He didn't respond. Then he said quietly, Sometimes one person has to sacrifice for everyone else. I felt something inside me go cold. Why is that person always Emma? He hung up. That night, I went through every email Emma had received from the scholarship committee. I printed everything: the award notification, the confirmation email, the congratulations message, the instructions for accepting the scholarship. Then I found something I'd never seen before. An attachment. It had been included in the original award email. Emma had never opened it. I clicked. It was a PDF, 3 pages. The first page contained Emma's name. The second contained the scholarship terms. The third contained something else. A signature. And beneath it was a sentence that made my hands go numb. Award may not be transferred to another applicant without written authorization from the original recipient. I read it again, then again. No transfer without written authorization. Emma had never authorized anything. So how had Noah received it? I was about to call the scholarship office when I noticed something else. The PDF metadata showed it had been created before Rachel's version of the paperwork existed. The original file had been preserved, but I didn't know where. Then, Emma walked into the room. She looked at the papers scattered across the table. Mom? I turned. Yeah. She pointed to the third page. That's not the document they showed us. What do you mean? They showed me something different. My heart started beating faster. What was different? The signature. I stood up. Whose? Emma stared at me. Mine. I couldn't breathe for a second. Emma. They had a signature on the form saying I agreed to give up the scholarship. I looked at her. Did you sign anything? No, are you sure? She looked offended. Yes. Then where did they get your signature? She shook her head. I don't know. Neither did I, but now we had a much bigger problem, because someone hadn't merely redirected a scholarship, someone had created a document claiming my daughter had agreed to it. And if that document existed, there had to be an original version somewhere proving what had actually happened. I picked up my phone. This time, I wasn't calling Rachel. I was calling the scholarship office. But before I could dial, an unknown number appeared on my screen. I answered. Hello? A woman's voice came through. Is this Claire Parker? Yes. My name is Denise. Who are you? I used to work with the scholarship committee. I sat down slowly. What do you mean, used to? She lowered her voice. I was asked to remove something from Emma's file. My heart stopped. What? I didn't do it. Then what did you do? A long pause. Then she said, I kept a copy. I looked at the stack of documents on my table. Why? Because I knew someday you'd come looking for the original. My fingers tightened around the phone. Denise. Yes. What exactly did you keep? Her answer changed everything. I kept the document your sister thought she had successfully made disappear.